triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Welcome, everyone. I'm Watson Bruni here from Battle for Freedom and Mojo 5 Radio. I know it seems like it's a billion years since you heard from me. Just a lot going on, between making sure my family is well and everyone else is well. Just appreciative of all of you who want to listen and pay attention to what I have to say. Just a lot of work projects that need to be done. Family birthdays coming up. I got a lot of families, kids and spouse turning, and single spouse, aging or just getting more seasoned over the, I don't know how long. But either way, just appreciative to all of you who have hung in there and shown some patience with me as I try and get through much of the topics. Today, I know I've been going through Torah since last April, and it's been very interesting trying to wrestle with the emotions of walking away from Genesis. I've got one chapter left to go, and honestly, to tell you the truth, it's very, very humbling as I, as I try and get my emotions ready to finish up this particular book and move on to Exodus next. But what we'll do is let's share a couple different things and we'll go from there.
It's fascinating. Have you seen it? LaserShopLive.com. It's the YouTube channel for Romika laser engraving and custom designs. We're excited to offer you a 24-hour live stream of our laser shop, along with various videos showcasing our laser work and completed projects. Our state-of-the-art equipment and skilled designers create intricate designs on a variety of materials. With our live stream, you can see firsthand how we create our one-of-a-kind products.
I stumbled upon LaserShopLive.com and was blown away by being able to actually watch them work on their projects. Their laser engraving live stream is fascinating to watch, and I lose all track of time.
Whether you're a business owner, creative professional, or just someone who appreciates unique and personalized items, LaserShopLive.com has something for everyone. And with our YouTube channel, LaserShopLive.com, you can watch our live stream and browse our videos anytime, anywhere. So why wait? Check out Laser Shop Live today and see what all the buzz is about. Visit LaserShopLive.com.
Yes, visit LaserShopLive.com. Hopefully I have my camera work up and running sometime this week. But just shout out to Lep over there in Facebook. You can catch him Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on an amazing program called Ain't You a Peach. Great content. It's on Sundays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on rumble.com. Look for Ain't You a Peach and get educated. No, I'm not dead. I just trying to stay afloat with all the different things going on. I got a big project at work that's really beating the snot out of me. So just want to get that done and make some transitions for some of the big tools that we're working with at work. Shout out to Larry over there in the Rumbleverse. Today I'm not going to do a lot of the different verses and everything like that. Actually, I might as well just leave the main verse that I'll be covering, and that is this. The same Torah and standard of judgment will apply to both you and the foreigner living with you. We are savage beasts. Actually, that's the wrong passage there. That shouldn't have said Ecclesiastes. That should have said Numbers. But I will leave, I'll leave the we are savage beasts for a second there because of the fact that, honestly, there it is. That's what it is. Yep. Now it's good. Now it should be good to go. Yes, we're savage. We're not just savage beasts, but no one's above the law. Numbers 15:16. No one's above the law. One of the things that's really interesting is we go through this thing here, and we're just talking about this whole idea of recalling America. The check is due. See, one of the different things is I share when I give you this particular passage. I put out something a few weeks ago, and I know it may have alarmed people with respect to what I had to say in reference to us bombing Iran a few weeks ago. I was not happy with it because of the fact that we took a position as though we are the arbiter and justice and the right way, or MAGA way. what I said a few weeks ago is I don't care who you are. If you think that this is healthy and good for the United States, the poop in your brains, in your skull has squeezed out your brain. This is the dictator I knew he always was since 2016. My opinion has never been Trump derangement syndrome. I know people want to say that I have TDS. That's just your opinion, not fact. My position has never been one of a he is a wolf in sheep's clothing, posing as a Republican while being a Democrat all his life. So there is zero justification for bombing a facility in another country because we are afraid of what they would do to us. That is like taking preemptive action against people we think would threaten us at any moment. Where would it end? Don't like my message? The option for you to unfollow, block, or stop listening has always been available. The United States is too arrogant to believe that it will not face judgment from on high. Adonai will use any weapon at his discretion to render our judgment. I don't care how many prayers or Christians you put on television to sanctify that atrocious act, we will be judged. And the reason why I say this is because of the fact that we have become too haughty and we act like we are above the law, that we are not required to in any way change our behavior, our patterns. So we carry on and we feel that there's going to be no judgment against us. But there is. And it's really sad because of the fact that we act like we're this strong arm of judgment and strength against the wickedness of the world, not realizing how much we play a critical part in being wicked ourselves. And there's going to be a time where we will not be able to say we didn't know. There's going to be a point in time where we're not going to be able to say that, oh yeah, we did what we thought was right. Because I'm gonna share things with what's going on here in the States, as well as what's going on around the world. And this whole idea of the United States being this paragon of truth and this arm of justice, I'm not anti-American. You can call me unpatriotic as you want, but the word is true here. The same Torah, the same teachings, the same standard of judgment will apply to both you and the foreigner living with you. You know how everybody who doesn't like Christians or who doesn't like the Bible are so quick to jump to Matthew 7:1, judge not lest ye be judged. We love that passage. It talks about the whole idea of try not to be some advocate for good while practicing evil. While being a very weapon and not just a weapon, decadent in our disgust and our decrepit behavior, our depravity. And we believe that somehow, some way this will not happen to us. And it's just sad. My wife was telling me about a church shooting that was in Kentucky yesterday. And I was just having a good conversation with Chief yesterday about how this whole idea is that right now, have you noticed the church really hasn't come under attack? Even though there was a shooting in a Kentucky church, and sorry for the lives that were lost, but the church really hasn't come under attack ever since it has been on the scene, trying to make a main stage. And I remember a couple years ago, you remember when the He Gets Us movement came out, and I turned around and I started poking concerns at that. I got accosted by church people because of the fact that I was touching their beloved thing. I can't believe something promoting Jesus is being attacked by Christians or supposed Christians. It's so clear. It was so clear that had nothing to do with the Lord. It had everything to do with propaganda and everything about churchianity and not about what true faith is about. We'll talk a little bit more about what He Gets Us, Jesus Revolution, Asbury Revival. What's the other one? Sound of Freedom. Oh, and Halo. Get ready for Halo, the Halo app, or Hallow app, however you want to pronounce it. But here it is. We continue to just sit here and think that we can carry on, and there's going to be no consequences for our actions. I'm not lying to you. the Lord will judge us. The same judgment by which we use to condemn other people around the world will be held against us. Remember this passage here as you see this. The same Torah and standard of judgment will apply to both you and the foreigner living with you. The persons that we give shelter to, and we believe that they're innocent, and we're only trying to do what's right, and we're only trying to honor God in our behaviors. Folks, I'm not going to lie to you. 29 and a half years in churchianity, and I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted as I reflect back on my life. What I thought I was doing for God was nothing but a joke. It was a lot of activity. It was a lot of activity and no true, authentic faith. It was no frills at best, and I'm ashamed. Do the introspection and review and see exactly what's going on. But we can't sit here and continue to. We just cannot in any way continue to ignore what's going on here. Lord help us. So let me look at a couple of the different things on here. So there was emergency 911 systems go down in the United States, in Pennsylvania. Thousands to fend for themselves. So the 911 service system is down. In light of all the different things that we've been doing, in light of us bombing other countries and everything like that, critical states, critical cities, critical towns are losing the ability to report emergencies. Very interesting that 911 would go down. You know how much stuff could have been shipped or moved during that time when 911 was down? You know how many different things or legal things could have been underway in the midst of 911 being down? See, everybody keeps thinking of just the initial emergencies. No one wants to pay attention to the sleight of hand. While for those of you who haven't seen it in the Return of the King, and Frodo and Samwise Gamgee are in Mordor, and Aragorn and the rest of the Fellowship basically draws the attention of Sauron to look at the Black Gate rather than look in his own territory to recognize the ever-present threat that was around him. And we're doing the same exact thing. We're looking in China. We're looking at Ukraine and Israel. We're looking at Russia. We're looking everywhere else but within the greater threats that were within us. The greatest threat to our existence hiding within our midst. But we're so focused on eye candy around the world. Hey, let's take over Greenland and all these other different things. Let me take the national stage and just be the person that everyone needs to focus on more than anything else, because I am God. That's the mentality of our commander-in-chief. No one is above the law, folks. No one is above the law. And the sooner we recognize that, the better. Hey, Lisa, thank you for joining and being part of the program. I know that this is not popular. I know this is not popular language. I know everybody wants to get behind the president and be happy for what, telling you, all the critical communication, all the critical things that we need are about to be shut down. All the advanced technology that we think that makes us far superior to any country in the world, the Lord is about to reduce it all to ashes because of the fact that we have become so confident in our military, financial, intellectual, spiritual prowess that we believe that we're above reproach. We believe that we're above the law and we have the right and the freedoms to do whatever. Just the idea in recent conversations, this whole debacle or planned outcome with the Epstein things. So if you've got enough power, this was shared with me. If you got enough power, if you've got enough money, the law doesn't apply to you. So in light of us trying to stop nuclear enrichment and protect other countries, sister countries, We have debauchery, licentiousness, and downright Sodom and Gomorrah-ish behavior that goes unchecked. We are deflowering, we're devouring innocent children, innocent people. They become our toys for pleasure. And no one pays the price on this side of eternity. Make no mistake, you do not escape the judgment of Yahweh. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. My 911 systems were down. That was a test run. That was a trial run. Kind of like 5 years ago with 15 days to flatten the curve. Yeah. That was a trial run. What happened in Pennsylvania is going to start happening in every state that you can imagine. They're going to take our whole grid down. We're going to be without anything. And if you haven't prepared for the worst, I've got nothing for you. But this is the challenge that we face, and it'll be with us for a very long time. Let's do one more for a second here.
Hello, I'm Dr. Leo with horizontalhive.com, and I keep bees naturally. And everything starts by catching a local free swarm of honeybees. You put a small beehive like that on the tree in the springtime, and just as birds move into birdhouses, bees will move into a little hive like that. After that, you take the frames, put them in a bigger box, they expand, they collect honey from the flowers and make good honey for you. And it can be as simple as that. No sugar feeding, no chemical treatments. I'm doing it for a living. And there are so many people who do the same thing. You can learn more in the book, Keeping Bees with a Smile. And it's exactly that, doing natural beekeeping and smiling at the same time.
Yes, natural beekeeping and smiling at the same time. Lord help us. I don't think we've really understood how bad this is about to get, but we'll see exactly. We'll pay a little bit more attention. We'll see if anyone's waking up. I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. Let's go to the next thing. Oh, urgent warning is bread recalled from at least 2,500 stores due to potentially deadly ingredient. So here in Indiana, if you have a negative reaction to hazelnuts, there are a lot of breads. There's a major recall in Indiana basically saying, hey, don't consume. Very deadly, especially if you have bad reactions. Please, and whatever you do not consume because of the fact that you could have a negative reaction. So please be safe out there because of the fact that you know what? You don't always have the right quality control when it comes to products being made in America. You don't always have the right quality control when, and it can happen to any of us. I think this is the reason why we're being recalled, because of the fact that one of the biggest problems that we have with all the stuff that we have is that we have all the stuff that we have. It is so easy for us to get so distracted. It is so easy for us to get so distracted because we have so many different tasks that we leave critical things exposed, and we put ourselves in horrendous positions because we have to keep up with the Joneses. We are on a schedule. We're doing what everybody else tells us we need to do rather than doing what we need for ourselves. And because of the fact that we have gone out of our way to be the judges of the world, the sheriffs of the world, it's going to come back and hurt us. It's going to haunt us. Because of the fact that we just did not think that we never thought that we'd ever be judged for our behaviors. We never thought we'd be judged. And the Lord's gonna bring about something that we never ever imagined in our lives, folks. We're gonna start seeing recalls and so much more. I know a lot of people, we're so happy to stick out our chest when Trump does something that really tells the world, don't mess with America. Don't F with America because we're serious. But Numbers 15:16. Same Torah and standard of judgment will apply to both you and the foreigner living with you. Forgive us, Lord. Forgive us when we get so confident in ourselves that we don't think that there's going to be a consequence to our actions. And I'm telling you, folks, we need to be trembling with fear about what we do and how we continue to believe that we can operate above reproach without any regret to our actions. China creates a remote-controlled cyborg bees that can be used for secret spy missions. All these are in the notes, whether you're watching on Rumble, YouTube, or even if you're watching on Facebook. So all those different. I mean, this is my thing: is our lives are such an overly opened book. I don't think they even have to go this far to create these cyborg bees that can spy. I mean, we get so key on if they have to make remote control bees. There is nothing we can do. The Word of God says everything in the darkness will be brought to light. Everything. All of us should be fearful of that reality. All the things that we thought that we could hide, the Lord's like, I don't think so. Don't get too confident in yourself and believe that there isn't going to be any consequences to your actions. You need to stop this behavior. You need to stop your foolishness, because what I'm about to do to you, you can't believe. You cannot believe what I'm about to break up on you because you thought you were above reproach. Time to wake up, folks. Time to wake up, because judgment's coming. And I don't think we really know or understand how bad it's about to become. Remote control bees. Cyborg bees. Here's another one. Joe Rogan explosive claim about insidious disease spreading through U.S. It was weaponized. He's talking about Lyme disease. One of the things that's very interesting is we start looking at a lot of the illnesses that has been striking America and around the world, not just America, but other countries. You know, one thing that was proven in light of what we experienced because of the pandemic was the fact that we saw the wickedness in the hearts of man. Why in the world would you ever make a disease or a virus more deadly or spreadable than in its original state? I liken it to the woman that I saw in the, I think it was the first Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot, where, you know, they found that one crazy scientist woman who had her face kind of like half torn, and she had to wear a mask, and she was constantly making all these deadly gases to kill because she just loved killing. It just seems like we've got all those little monsters running all the way around, all over the world. But we're gonna stop nuclear programs in Iran because we really want to make certain that no lives are lost. How many lives were lost because of COVID? How many lives were lost because of gain of function? But no, stop, pause. The check is due. You've been sitting at the we've and here in America, literally and figuratively, we've been sitting fat at the table, engorging on every meal that you could possibly imagine. We've tasted it all. We've eaten it all. And the check is due. You have to pay for that expensive wine, the 7-course appetizers, the 15-course meal, the desserts, the coffee, and everything else that we've turned around And hold on a second here.
Hey, my name's Trip, and I want to introduce you to Sun Oven. This is our all-American Sun Oven. We've been making these for the last 35 years. We're in 126 different countries all over the world. And basically, we call this a solar crock pot. And it's used to be able to just put your food in there and slow cook it with the power of the sun. You can never burn, scorch, or dry anything out inside the Sun Oven. Once you put it in, the sun reflects off of these reflectors in through the glass into the inner chamber, and it reaches temperatures of between 300 and 350 degrees. Really, the design is very simple. It's like the greenhouse effect. If you've got in your car during the summer and it's really, really hot, that's what's happening inside the Sun Oven. You know, anything you cook in your regular oven, you can cook inside the Sun Oven. You can use any of your existing pots and pans. If they'll fit in here, you can cook with them in here, just like you do in your regular oven. It's designed for you to be able to cook your meal out with the power of the sun. And literally, the longer you keep stuff in here, the more juicy and tender it is. So that's a quick introduction to the Sun Oven. Thank you.
Yes, introduction to Sun Oven. Remember, get it before they no longer have any in the United States, please. But this idea that we have created diseases, we've seen an insidious level of wickedness from the people we thought that would protect us, and they had no problem putting a lot of these horrible things together. It's so they could create the cure to the disease or the problem, so they could have the fix to the problem that they created. And we constantly keep doing this over and over and over again, from the medical perspective, from the financial perspective, from the political perspective. Every avenue, every means we have figured out. We've got villains who are play acting as heroes. Our spending is out of control. Our spending was out of control when he was 45, and our spending is out of control when he's 47. But then sandwiched in between was this crazy spending from Biden. But we act like that's the only threat that we've ever had to worry about. Folks, this is not sustainable. None of this is sustainable for any of us. And we have to change. The same Torah and standard of judgment will apply to both you and the foreigner living with you. No one is above the law. No one is above the Torah. Torah, Torah, Torah. Listen. We pay attention and listen loudly, because what the Lord's about to bring, I don't believe that we can completely comprehend. And it's sad because of the fact that I don't think people care. I really just don't think that they care. And I think that it's going to come to a point where when the judgment comes, we're going to be very, very, very sad that we did not in any way do better to say, Lord, forgive us for what you have done. Let's do this. Let's prepare for a break, folks. Again, it's wow. It's good to reconnect with you. I want to do this. I want to get us ready for the break, and I'll talk to you beautiful people on the flip side. Thank you so much.
Psalm 1, verse 1. How blessed are those who reject the advice of the wicked, don't stand on the way of sinners, or sit where the scoffers sit. I love this because it's basically saying that the person does not want to associate with wickedness in any way, from hearing, standing near, associating, nor being comfortable enough to rest in his presence. Verse 2 says, their delight is in Adonai's Torah. On his Torah they meditate day and night. In other words, they love the teachings of God, and this is what they think about day and night. They are like trees planted by streams. They bear their fruit in season. Their leaves never wither. Everything they do succeeds. Verse 3 is basically hinting that there's life in them, and it's not murky, stagnant water that passes by them or fills them. It's flowing, life-giving, clean water. But verse 4 says, not so the wicked, who are like chaff driven by the wind. Chaff, it's a substitute, or it looks like, or an imitation of wheat that has no substance and has no value, and it's easily manipulated. For this reason, the wicked won't stand up to the judgment, nor will sinners at the gathering of the righteous. In other words, there is no hope for those who reject the teachings of Adonai, who reject his Torah. They will not be able to stand, even though they think that they're gods. The Lord of creation will humble them. Verse 6, for Adonai watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked is doomed. In other words, if our goal is to reject Adonai, his teachings, his Torah, his rule, his order, that means that we will suffer the consequences of living in no order and complete chaos, facing his wrath for eternity. Why? Because we rejected his truth. Triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo Fiverr Radio. It's been a minute since you've probably heard me, but I'm just glad that you're here. And we're having a discussion today, recalling America. The check is due. If you want to leave a comment, you can go to facebook.com/Battle for Freedom, or rumble.com/Battle for Freedom, or look for Battle for Freedom. And there's a live broadcast right now on YouTube, and you can leave a comment there. And I'd really be happy to catch that and go from there. But as we sit here and we look at what's going on, and the idea, the fact that we don't think that this will catch up to us. We keep thinking that we're above the law and it's not going to come back at us. In the first segment, I talked about the whole idea that you have, there was a church shooting, and again, I was having a conversation with the chief. You know, if you notice, no attacks really on the church, apart from random shootings here and there. Almost like, and when the Bible says Satan doesn't cast out Satan, you sit here and you watch this about how is it that the alleged what's the word for this staple in society that's supposed to be representing goodness, holiness, righteousness, supposed to be representing Jesus Christ, is always littered with all kinds of problems and challenges. Let's look at this latest one. Ugly secrets of America's most popular Christian prayer app, as founder abandons troubled Hollywood backers. Report by James Reinl. A popular new prayer app with some 22 million downloads comes as Gen Zers ends America's decades-long drift away from religion with a surprise embrace of their spiritual nature. The Christian... This is so disgusting, it's not even funny. The Christian app that guides cell phone users through prayers and meditations has taken the internet by storm. Hallow's founders claim that their app has 22 million downloads across more than 150 countries as of April. For some, its success is a sign that Christianity is rebounding in the West after decades of decline as millions of tech-savvy young people turn to God. And a lot of people are like, oh, is this a bad thing? People turning to God? Listen, I'm sorry. If we're so lazy that we can't open our Bibles and we need an app to tell us to pray, we need an app to tell us to read, we need an app to tell us exactly what God's word says rather than just reading it. Oh, well, people learn different. Some by visual, some by reading, some by audio, blah, 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 blah. And why? Why do you think it is that people struggle to learn to understand? Maybe it's because of the fact we have too many stinking distractions. We have too many different things, and we put the Lord of creation, the Lord, the lover of our souls, we put him on a schedule. We put him on a timeline as to when he needs to show up in our lives. And normally we only want him around when we want something from him, not when we want to fellowship with him. But hey, here you go. The app helps guide users through prayer, listening to music that brings them closer to God, and even offers bedtime stories, homilies, and chants. Think about this. We're gonna use bedtime stories, homilies, and chants rather than just reading his word. You want chants? You want music? Read the Psalms. Read the poetry literature. Proverbs. You're struggling with things in life. Read the scriptures. You're struggling? Yeah, sometimes the Chronicles and the Kings and they can be dry reading. Well, if you've got insomnia, dry read the Word of God into your sleep. Celebrities' endorsements have helped its success. Mark Wahlberg, Chris Pratt, Gwen Stefani, and John Rumi, who played Jesus Christ in The Chosen, have spread the message. But Halo's story has not been without controversy. The app has been banned in some countries, and critics have slammed its eye-watering $70 annual subscription, calling CEO and founder Alex Jones a greedy profiteer. One Catholic user wrote, "I couldn't help but feel a certain discomfort with the way that the ads utilize religious elements to sell its services. It seems to walk a fine line between genuine spiritual guidance and commercial exploitation of faith." Critics have also called it out its ties to celebrities with dubious moral records. Gen Zers are bucking a decades-long trend towards atheism in America, says the Pew's research, and the Catholic prayer app is doing brisk business with an alleged 22 million downloads in 2018. When we're profiting from faith, there's a problem. When we're allegedly profiting, well, someone's got to pay for the app, someone's got to pay for this, someone's got to pay for that. You know what? I have no problem paying people what the work that they put in. But when we actually create a tool and people are dumb enough to pay for the tool, it says more about us and our laziness than anything else. When we become so dependent on this technology that we can't turn around and open up a book, that we have to have all this electronic interference, it says a lot about us. Lord, forgive us. The distractions that are all in front of all of us, myself included. We can't disconnect. We've become too dependent on the stuff that has really led us astray. Lord, forgive us. Lord, forgive us. But I don't think it's going to get any better, folks. I don't think it's going to get any better. It's only going to get worse, and it's going to just continue to decline. And I don't think people care anymore. Honestly, I just don't think people care. It doesn't matter how much truth that we bring to this realization. This app, this app has been accused of being heavily aligned with the Christian right, and the critics point out previous investments from Vice President J.D. Vance and his ties to actor QAnon conspiracy theorist Jim Caviezel, who recounted a wild theory suggesting that the elites were drinking the blood of children in order to benefit from rejuvenating chemical and adrenochrome. They're pulling kids out of the darkest recesses of hell right now in dumps and all kinds of places. The adrenochroming of children. Look, Caviezel said. You know what? Here's the thing about it. It's true what they're doing. It's true that they're drinking the blood of children. It's true that this is not QAnon conspiracy theory. But here's the crazy part about it, though, is that they're doing a lot of deflecting to make us feel like it's only coming from the people on the left. That the only people who would be on the left, the only people who are going to be on Epstein's list are people who are on the left. Democrats, communists, all those sorts. They don't want to tell you about the people who are on the right, the higher ups. And not just the people who are in the right politically. The people who are in the evangelical movements, in the Protestant movements, in the Catholic movements, in the different churchianities around the world. Not the faith of following the Messiah. Well, there is a Messiah that they're following. The Messiah they made themselves. They consider them saviors to the world. operating NGOs and going into these poor countries that need help. We're going to help these poor people who are too dumb and too ignorant to figure out what to do. The same people who have no problem insulting black people, that you're too dumb to go out and go to the store and go to the government center and get yourself an official ID so you can vote. You have too much time for BET, booty shaking and everything like that, but you don't have time to actually make it a priority. If you want to vote, get out there and take care of yourself. You can make it to the store, you can make it to Mama Shook's house and all these other different places, but doing something as difficult as getting yourself an ID, that just draws the line. That's downright racist. And there are allegedly highly educated black folks still perpetuating that nonsense. Instead of actually going out and helping the alleged disenfranchised people, they stay on their boats, they stay on their yachts, their high-end SUVs, concerting about the place and still blaming white folks why blacks can't succeed. Because there always has to be a victim. And here it is. This is not surprising about Hallow. You know what? It's just sad. We've just grown so dependent on technology. And the worst part about it is that you need to watch the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, where the people were so they were so connected to the avatars of the success of that they be in the world, that when all the power shut off, they had to readjust to life without technology. Going back to the fundamentals, and if we don't know those fundamental things right now, folks, I'm telling you, when the true strike happens, when the true power goes off, if we don't have these fundamental skills to survive without technology, we will be ruined. When I think of the book of Revelation and it talks about how thirds of the earth, quarter of the earth, and large populaces of people die at such a quick pace, I'm telling you, the biggest cause will be their utter dependence on technology. I think if some people lost, look at how people lose it when they announce that certain services go down around the world. People lose their minds. Are you kidding me? We don't have access to this? Huh? We don't have access to TikTok? I can't do a video? I can't stream. I can't stream? Yeah. This is gonna be pretty funny. I just find it very, very interesting that we don't think this is gonna come back and bite us. Our utter dependence. And I'm telling you, wake up, folks. Wake up. Let's go on to the next one, because this one makes me sick. Man murders his parents and sister. This is another one. This is again in beautiful USA. We turn around and we think that we're above reproach and we're the cream of the crop, we're the creme de la crop, and what everyone wants to be. Man murders his parents, sister, and dog in unimaginable horrors before dragging bodies to a ravine. Adlai Mestre, 24, was arrested outside the family home in Tijeras, New Mexico, and led police to the bodies of his mother, Bertha Condi, 51, dad, Raimundo Mestre, and 46, and sister, Brielle Mestre, 17. Explained to cops on camera how he shot dead his family and threw their bodies in a ravine while stand murder for trial. 24 years old, arrested outside the family home in Tijeras, New Mexico, on October 13th last year with a gun and loaded magazine in his pockets. Body cam video showed him lead police to the bodies of his mother, dad, and sister. I killed them and was going to bury them, he told Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies in the footage. He also allegedly shot dead the family dog. The sole survivor was eldest daughter, Nancy Messer, who was not living at home during her brother's alleged rampage. When police went inside the body, they found a gruesome scene of blood transfer patterns consistent with dragging marks and mopping and cleaning. But hey, let's stop Iran. Because we got to worry about Iran. We got to worry about Iran. Yeah. This program's I'm just getting really sick of this right now. I'm probably gonna have to end this program early. Here's another one. Let's just because we're gonna keep other countries from having nuclear capabilities, right? Nevada teacher admits abusing dozens of kids as young as 2 years of age. Taji Hilson, 62 of Reno, was arrested on July 2nd, one day after she allegedly left an apology letter in a victim's mailbox. Her arrest came months after a female adult relative filed a police report on April 30th alleging that she had been sexually abused by Hilson as a child and as an adult. Even after the relative submitted 4 additional police reports with further evidence, Hilson still continued her work as a substitute physical education teacher at Roy Gom Elementary School through the end of the term on June 13th. Police do not believe that Hilson's abuse victims were also her students. Believe that her victims were also her students of hers. Nearly 2 weeks later, Reno police interviewed Hilson about the allegations. She allegedly admitted to abusing dozens of children, mainly relatives in North Carolina, and touching a 2-year-old inappropriate at a pool in the last 2 years. She told police she committed all of the actions as she never felt seen and desired to be close to another person, the report said. The adult victim lived next door to her and is financially dependent on Hilson. Court documents attained and she allegedly started abusing the adult victim 20 years ago. She only found out about it after Hilson left her an apology letter in the mailbox. Her arrest comes months after a female adult filed a police report. The defendant admitted to giving her Benadryl to sedate her by sneaking it in her food. The defendant described doing this throughout the victim's childhood, but more frequently from age 6 to 12 as her husband worked night shifts at the time. I mean, there's so much. If we had just applied Torah, much of this stuff wouldn't happen. But hey, we know better. We're I can only do this one more time. So let's just do this last one. Let's do this last one because this one hits home to our blind allegiance to just doing incorrectly what Ted Cruz says we should be doing, is backing people when we don't have a biblical understanding. Humanitarian city proposed for Gaza would be a concentration camp for Palestinians and ethnic cleansing, former Israeli Prime Minister says. Omar described the suggested facility as a concentration camp and said its construction would escalate what he views as Israel's current violations of international law. It's a concentration camp. I'm sorry, he said, referring to the plan outlined last week by Israel Katz. The defense minister has instructed the military to begin operational planning for the project, which would be built on the ruins of Rafah and initially house 600,000 people. It would eventually accommodate the entire Palestinian population of Gaza. Omar, who led the country from 2006 to 2009, told The Guardian, if they, Palestinians, will be deported into the new humanitarian city, then you can say that this is part of an ethnic cleansing. It hasn't happened yet. And he added that such a move will be the inevitable interpretation of any effort to construct a large camp intended to contain hundreds of thousands of people. As we see when we watch this, we keep backing a lot of evil and wickedness. And I'm not lying to you folks. We're about to be judged. We're about to be judged. I'm honestly, I'm nauseous. I'm sick to my stomach now because we have tolerated far too much. Listen, folks, I'm going to end this show early. If I'm going to share something with you, you need to start reading your Bible. If you can get yourself a complete Jewish Bible, CJB, and just start reading His Word. Start in Genesis. I'll be doing Genesis 50, closing out the chapter with great reservation and trepidation on Wednesday. But start reading His Word. Start reading and learning Torah for yourself. Just read the Word, please, because the worst is yet to come. And many people believe that we're going to be executing judgment on the rest of the world. I believe that the judgment will be executed on us. The judgment will be executed on us. Brad Staggs and the Daily Mojo's up next, folks. I'm going to call this one quickly because of the fact that I just can't. I need to get back into His Word and just let that marinate and clean and free my soul. I'll talk to all you beautiful people on the flip side.